Hey there. I don't know what kind of night this has been for you, but if you've been sitting there quietly wondering whether you've become a burden to the people you love, I want to stay with that feeling for a moment instead of rushing you past it, because I know thoughts like that rarely appear out of nowhere. Usually they build slowly. A few moments that felt different, a conversation that felt distant, a sigh you noticed, a delayed reply, a moment where you opened up and afterward immediately regretted saying anything at all. And suddenly your mind starts doing what it does best. Replaying things, analyzing tone changes, wondering if you talked too much, needed too much, felt too much. And the more you think about it, the smaller you begin trying to make yourself. Not dramatically, quietly. You start saying, "I'm okay," when you're not. You stop bringing certain things up. You try to carry your emotions privately so nobody has to deal with them. And after a while, you begin confusing silence with being easy to love. But I want to gently tell you something tonight. Needing support from people you love does not automatically make you a burden. Having difficult emotions does not make you difficult to love. And struggling sometimes does not make your presence heavy or unwanted. It makes you human. I think part of why this feeling hurts so much is because you genuinely care about the people around you. You notice when they're tired. You notice shifts in their energy. You notice when someone seems emotionally overwhelmed. And because you care so deeply about not hurting or draining others, you start treating your own emotions like something dangerous, something that needs to be managed carefully. So even when you need comfort, part of you feels guilty for needing it, and that guilt can become exhausting. Because now, on top of carrying your actual feelings, you're also carrying fear about how those feelings affect everyone else. That's a heavy way to live. And honestly, it often leads people into loneliness without realizing it. Not because nobody loves them, but because they slowly stop allowing themselves to be fully seen. And I know why. It feels safer to minimize yourself than risk feeling unwanted. But real love, healthy love, was never meant to exist only in the easy moments. It's also meant for the tired version, the uncertain version, the version that sometimes needs reassurance, patience, understanding, or comfort. That does not mean people will always respond perfectly. Human beings get overwhelmed sometimes. People miss things. People get distracted by their own lives and struggles. But there's a difference between someone being imperfect and someone truly viewing you as a burden. And when your mind is already afraid of taking up space, those two things can start feeling identical. So tonight, before you decide that your existence has become too much for the people you love, pause for a moment. Ask yourself whether you've actually been told that, or whether fear has been quietly translating normal human moments into rejection. Because fear does that sometimes, especially when you've spent a long time trying to earn love by being low maintenance. But you do not have to disappear emotionally to deserve care. You do not always have to constantly shrink your needs to keep people comfortable. And you do not have to carry every difficult feeling alone just to prove that you're lovable. The people who truly love you may not always know the perfect thing to say, but your emotions are not automatically a problem simply because they exist. You are allowed to have hard nights. You are allowed to need reassurance. You are allowed to be honest when something hurts. That is not weakness. That is not failure. That is part of being close to other human beings. So tonight, instead of asking yourself, "Am I becoming too much?" maybe ask something softer. Maybe ask, "Have I been carrying myself alone for so long that needing support now feels uncomfortable?" Because that is a very different question, and one that deserves gentleness, not judgment.